Hi, I'm Ed Regner, the owner of Drive Physical Therapy, a mobile PT business that services the South Shore and Cape Cod regions. Also newly a host of a show called Getting to Know, and I am honored, very honored to have Molly with us today, who is affiliated with Marathon Sports Store, and I've been pretty much showcasing people who are involved in businesses that promote health, wellness, and fitness. So I want to welcome you and thank you, Molly, for doing this with me. We'll start with question number one.
Okay.
What is your role at Marathon Sports? How did you get your start? And kind of like tell people what Marathon Sports Store is.
Okay. So I manage the Plymouth location of Marathon Sports, and what my role is kind of like a little bit of everything. So I'll step in and fit people on the floor, but I also oversee all of the events that go on and organize those. We do a lot of community outreach. I lead a run club. I do the scheduling, I do the hiring, I order products for the store.
Wow.
So yeah, basically anything and everything. I'm the gal that does it.
So you lead the run clubs?
I do lead the run club, yes.
And how far are those runs?
Yeah, so we do a 5K every single Wednesday.
Ooh.
So we run, right now we're running around downtown Plymouth. We're gonna shift a little bit as the waterfront concerts happen this summer, but for right now we're in downtown right on the waterfront.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I can give a little bit of background too. Like I met Molly a couple months ago at an event at the store that was geared towards like healthcare professionals, and it was with New Balance and Superfeet.
Mm-hmm.
And it was amazing. And I have been raving about that. I came home with the best running shoes I've ever had in my life. I've been a runner for 20 years now, and I've had a lot of different shoes, and I got fitted to the New Balance Moors.
Yeah.
And man, I mean, the whole time I was like, please recommend those for me. So they did it. They took us through the you took us through the fittings.
Yeah.
And it was great. I didn't give any like input as a physical therapist of how I think my feet are, or what my input on biomechanics or my anatomy. And I don't remember it was a young, I think a high school runner
it was
who
Noah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he was young and he analyzed me, and I was wondering, what's he gonna come up with? And he nailed it.
Nice.
Like completely nailed it. And did the whole fitting. I forgot what that machine was called.
Yeah, the Atrix scanner.
Yeah, if you want to explain what that is.
Yeah, absolutely. So the cornerstone of what Marathon Sports does is called the right fit process. So what that encompasses is like a whole fitting process. So it's not like you come in and you pick a shoe off the wall and you're like, oh, I want to try this on. Yes, people do that, but we have so much more to offer. So when someone comes through the door, they're greeted, we talk to them, see why they're here, what's going on, like why do they need shoes, and then from there we go through a gait analysis where we watch them walk across the floor. So we're checking for things like overpronation, supination, like if their legs turn out, if they turn in, all those kind of details that help us pick a good shoe. And then we go over to the Atrix scanner. So Atrix is one of the insoles that we carry at the store for arch support, and they provide us with this machine where we can actually take a 3D scan of your feet. So you get on the scanner, you take a scan of your feet, it scans the pressure, but also all the little measurements that help us pick a good shoe. So, length, width, arch height, instep height, all the little details. And we can actually see it on the screen, so the customer and us can look at the feet together, show them what we're looking for when they're walking, and check all the little details so we can pick a shoe that's exactly meant for them.
It was so cool to see my foot in, I guess, 40?
40, I guess. Yeah,
I've seen more than 3D.
40, yeah.
Yeah, it was like a mold. But it was also cool to see right side versus left side, and that they were different.
Yeah, that's really common with a lot of people's feet. I would say it's more rare that we have people with the same measurements left to right than the opposite of that. Yeah.
Right, and if that happens, you're probably like, let's do it again. There's no way that's right. There's no way.
Yeah, and we always check like the old school way afterwards with the Brannick on the floor just to double check like size and stuff. But yeah, it's a really cool process.
I love the organic way of take your shoes off, take your socks off, watch they got down at eye level or foot level. And then this high-tech machine to do it. So it was like, I guess you couldn't go wrong in assessing someone's feet.
I hope not.
No, it was great.
And it's cool too because we put a lot of training into the staff that are there because we want them to be able to fit people in the right way. So everyone gets 200 of hours before they're left out on the floor by themselves. So we do a really in-depth job of not just training them on how to do a gait analysis, but then also training on all of the products in the store.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. That's always what blows my mind at shoe stores. Like they know the intricacies of every shoe and everything, and the different brands and different types. Yeah. But actually, that leads me to the next question: is what kind of clientele do you get? Is it mostly runners? Is it mostly serious runners, advanced runners, beginners, or even walker, like people who don't run and just need a good, comfortable walking shoe?
We get like a whole variety of people. So we have everyone from the person, you know, training for their 42nd marathon all the way to people starting their first 5K ever that they've done.
Right.
So I would say it's a very healthy mix. And then we have a lot of people that are like big walkers in the community with so many places to walk in Plymouth. We get a lot of those people. But then we also get a lot of restaurant workers, people that are on their feet all day, nurses, teachers. So it's not just for running and walking. Like these shoes can help support people in their everyday life. Yeah. So it's like a little bit of everything that we get.
I never thought of that. I was like, let me ask this question of who you normally get. And I would not have thought of just people who are on the feet, like restaurant walkers. Because I know, I've been a runner for 20 years, but prior to that, you know, I didn't run more than 10 feet, you know, and so whenever I passed by running stores, and being from Syracuse, New York, Fleet Feet was our store that we would always that I knew of that runners went to, but I would never go there because I was like, I'm not a runner. So if you're not a runner, don't think because it says marathon that you have to be a marathon runner, or even a half marathon runner. You could be a 2 miles a day, whatever, right?
Yeah, that absolutely. I think that's something that we do get asked about, like when they walk in, it's like, oh, do you only sell running shoes? And I'm like, well, they are designed for running and walking, but that is not the only purpose of them. And so, we are always fitting people. So please come into the store. We're not gonna turn you away because you don't run. We want everyone to be happy on their feet throughout their day.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I love that whole concept of not just runners or walkers.
Well, let's go back because you said how I got my start there. So I need a little background.
Yeah, give us that.
I was not a runner growing up. I was a competitive swimmer, so I was always told like running's hard on your joints, get in the pool instead. So it took me a while to kind of shift that mindset. But when I trained for my first half marathon, because my husband was a very big runner, I really fell in love with running. I've been like a big hiker and a backpacker and always been active, but running just hadn't been something that had appealed to me until I actually started taking it seriously.
Got the bug.
Yeah, I got the bug and I haven't looked back. Like running was not a huge part of my life, and now it's like one of the main things that I do in my life now, which has been really cool. So
that's great.
It's never too late to start either. One of the women that works at our store, I think she ran her first marathon at like age 40. It wasn't even something she did when she was younger.
Like didn't even run before 40.
No, well, she grew up in a time when she couldn't even be on the track team in high school because it wasn't allowed for girls. One of those things where I think she wanted to, but she couldn't, and so she picked it up later in life and is still going strong.
Well, there's that she's like 70 or 80 who's like breaking all these records in marathons. I talked to a lot of my clients and patients about. I just had a patient yesterday. He's 85. He had a knee replacement and he's not really doing his exercises at home, and I was talking to his wife, and she said, to be honest, he doesn't see much of a future after 85. He thinks 85 is, he just should be in his wheelchair for the rest of his life. And man, I used that example. I forgot the runner's name who said, like, I think she's close to 80, who like still sets records in running marathons.
Jeannie Rice, I think.
Totally. You got it. It's not an age thing. I say this quote, it's my favorite quote. You don't stop moving because you got old. You got old
because you stopped moving.
Because you stopped moving.
Yeah, that's so true. When I so the way I got into more like of the physical exercise besides the swimming was I thru hiked the Appalachian Trail during the pandemic, and I was down in Virginia, and I had a group of women all in their 80s hiking up a mountain faster than I was, and I remember getting to the top of that mountain and being like, what's your secret?
That,
you know,
yes.
what is it? And she said, just never stop. She does it every day, you know, and goes out and is active. And she said, as long as you do that, like, your body's not going to stop. It's not going to stop you.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like so inspiring. I love that. In the running community, I played a lot of sports, but the running community gets so much motivation.
Mm-hmm.
So much like those inspirational quotes and stories and even the signs. And my very first marathon, the last maybe 4 miles, I was booking it as fast as I could, and I was probably going at a 15-minute pace.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was just like as fast as I could go at that time. And I remember this woman who had to be well over 70, just flying by me. And she gave me like words of encouragement. It's very much, don't stop, keep going, you're never giving up and all that. And if you train it, sometimes you'll be better running than you are walking.
Yeah.
Because that's just what you do. Anything else you want to throw in on how you got started?
Well, I mean, I guess I need to shout out my husband because he's the reason I got the job. So my husband is a New England tech rep for Superfeet, which is a running insole that we carry at the store. And so when we moved to Boston for his job, I was looking for a job. And so since he services all the stores, he had heard about an opening. And so that's how I got started with Marathon Sports. But like I said, not a huge running background, and just, you know, I'm somebody that just loves to be active and to keep my body healthy. And so that's what I try and promote at the store.
Yeah, we got a little bit to get to know each other before we sat down and talked, and it's a very impressive story. Skiing out west, I'm guessing that's where you were living in Korea.
Yeah. We've done a lot, and it's always been geared around like outdoor recreation and being outside. That's my favorite thing to do. It's what keeps me happy and healthy. So I've thru-hiked the Appalachian Trail. I thru-hiked the Pacific Crest Trail. I lived abroad in Seoul, South Korea, where I went hiking every single weekend. And that community there is so inspiring. Everyone out there is outdoors and active and always moving. And so when we were, you know, hiking in the mountains there, when I would go for runs, I was usually one of the youngest people doing it. It was something that it was all people in their 60s and 70s out there. Super inspiring.
When you see different cultures and like how physically active they still are well later in their years, it's
what I want to be.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I want to promote, and I know you guys promote it too, is just health and wellness and fitness in the community, so that we don't use that excuse of being too old to be active. And I think Plymouth has like a huge retirement population.
It does, yeah.
So we got to just keep everyone moving and exercising and just staying fit, because you can go for a long time.
Yeah, you really can.
Yeah, I have a patient who is 93. You know, still runs and plays tennis.
Wow, that's incredible.
With the biggest smile on her face.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I mean, last night we had our run club, and I had a gentleman come for the first time, and he was 67, and I ran with him.
Right.
And it was amazing. We held a conversation the whole time.
Right.
Ran, and I got to know him, and he didn't start running until he was, I think he said, like, in the past 8 years he started. Perfect. So it's never too late. Yeah.
Here I am at 44 thinking, you know, I've been running for 20 years. I'm in my, you know, towards the end, but no, not even halfway. But I think that ties into the next question. What advice would you give someone who's, you know, thinking about running, or they're on the fence about picking up running or even joining a running club? Like, I'm sure you get that question a lot. How do you talk somebody into it? Yeah.
So just from like getting started and running, like I always say, anything is better than nothing. If you run for a minute and walk for 5, and run for another minute, that is still more than a lot of people are doing. And there is no right way to go about it. Whatever is comfortable for you and your body when you start, you can build from that. So I'm always encouraging people, like, don't be afraid to start. Like, even if it's just a little bit, like, you can build up to whatever you want as long as you put in the work. As far as the run clubs go, like, I had never run in a run club before joining Marathon Sports.
Me neither.
Yeah, and so I always felt intimidated that I wasn't going to be fast enough. All the people were going to judge me for how slow. I wasn't going to be able to talk and hold a conversation.
Right.
Like, I knew that I wanted to start a club at the store, and so Plymouth has a lot of run clubs already. So I actually just went to one of the other ones.
Okay.
And,
like not Marathon Sports?
Not Marathon Sports.
Okay.
We do events with them, but it's not like our run club. So
Gotcha.
Dirty Water Distillery has one on Thursday nights.
Been there.
Yeah, they're awesome, and they are hosting races
Joey.
now. Yeah, Joey, he's great.
Joey.
So
What's up, Joey?
We love you, Joey. I'm doing an event with them on June 12th, so just around the corner. But yeah, I showed up there, and I was really apprehensive about it because I'd only run by myself. Like, I didn't even like to run with my husband because he was faster than me, and that made me feel bad.
Sure,
you know?
yeah.
Even though it shouldn't, like, it doesn't matter. But I showed up, and Joey came right up to me and said hi, and like started talking to me, and he asked me, you know, like, oh, like, what's your pace? And then linked me up with people that are around the same pace that I was running at. And there are people that go to the run clubs that just go and walk. You know, they're just there for the community aspect of it. And so I started running there, and I like matched up with a group of people, and I went with them for some of the events that we were doing. And obviously I couldn't go every week, but it's a really great group, and that really inspired me and taught me a lot about how I wanted my club to be at the store.
Okay.
So yeah, like, don't feel afraid about joining the run club. Like, it is first and foremost a place to meet people and to stay active. It's not about how fast you go or how far you can go.
Right.
It's just about showing up.
I always ran by myself. I run in my neighborhood. I'll train for an entire marathon, 500 miles of training by myself.
Good for you.
I just don't. I mean, it's not like a badge of honor. It's just I guess I don't say intimidation, but hesitation to run with other people because of are they too fast for me, or am I too fast for them? In that it bothers me. A lot of times people, even when I say, don't worry if you're slower than I am, I'll run with you. And there's like that self-consciousness on their part. So sometimes I won't run with somebody because I don't want them to feel that way. So I gotta check out yours.
Yeah.
When is yours?
So every Wednesday at
Wednesdays.
6 o'clock, yeah.
And then the other thing, is that I always felt like you had to go every week, or if you missed.
No, not at all. Like, it's really one of those things. You don't have to pay for it. It's there for the community. Just show up when you can. If you can't make it a week, it's not a big deal. Just come the next time you can. So yeah, we have some people that are like pretty adamant about trying to get there every single week, and then there's some people that'll come maybe once a month, or maybe they come when we have the events, but not every single week. So it's like, it's to fit your life, you know. You don't have to be there every week. We're just happy when you're there. Yeah.
And if you're on the fence about it and you join a running club, guess what? There's probably someone else there who just joined as well. So
we had 3 new members yesterday.
Really?
Yeah, 3 first-time people yesterday.
Wow. How many people do you have?
So
generally?
now it's up to about like 12 to 15 people, I would say.
Yeah,
I started it last July, and for a while it was just me and one other gal, and now she's one of my best friends. But it grew, and surprisingly it grew during the winter time, which I was shocked because I had never run during the winter time. I was like, that's for crazy people. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah,
and,
ski.
I'll go ski, but
Yeah.
running, like, I'll take a break. But I did because of the club this winter. I was like, no, like, I'm running every single week, and that was super inspiring to meet the people that do run, during the winter time. And I found a lot of enjoyment in it because, you're not sweating as much, which I liked.
True. And you can get good winter apparel at Marathon Sports for.
There you go. You got everything you need.
Right. And so I tell you, the running apparel is super cool stuff. If my whole wardrobe could be like running clothes, it
all
would be.
I wear,
Yeah.
It's with that, to that effect, like, something that people always say is like, there is no bad weather, there's only bad gear. Like, I would say,
true,
with a grain of salt. Like, I'm not saying to go out in the middle of a snowstorm.
Right.
However, like, if it's too cold, like, there are ways to get around that to be comfortable. And I learned that this winter because I had never run in the wintertime before. But I learned a lot about it from the people at the store.
The weather stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's like weatherproof shoes and everything like that.
I did run in the snow for the first time. We had a bit of like a little snow squall, and we were out on the run, and that was honestly, it was magical. I loved it because I love the snow. Running through it was new to me, but just gotta be careful.
Just gotta be careful, right?
The sidewalks were really icy this winter, so we were always keeping an eye out on that and figuring out how to get around that kind of stuff. But
if you slip and you fall, I know.
We come to you.
I know. As a therapist, I might.
We're not encouraging following.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly. That's why I didn't want to like go too far into that example. All right, so I always ask people this question, and I love the responses. And so it's basically, what would you advise someone to do to live a healthy lifestyle, other than the thing you specialize in, which is running and exercise? So, what else do you find is important for health?
I think and this is because I've spent so much time outside, but I think being out in nature is one of the best things you can do for yourself. Like if I'm having a rough day, I immediately go to the park. I live near the Blue Hills State Park, and so whenever I'm like stressing out or I need to think something over or I just need to clear my head, like that is where I go. Because nature is one of the most healing things, and I think we spend a lot of time, too much time indoors for where we came from, and so to be able to get outside, get in the sun, get the fresh air, be in nature, that's like my top thing that I do.
Love it.
And then also it's like having a community and a support system. So being able to find a group of people that you can go to, or just a support system, whether that be your family, whether it be friends, like anybody that you can, I think that's super, super key. And that's another reason the run clubs are so awesome, because it's a way to meet people in the community that are like-minded, like healthy individuals who they're going to celebrate your wins and they're going to motivate you when you're down, and they're super inspiring and they're always there to talk. But even if it's not in the running world, like, you know, joining a book club or like a walking group, or like if you go to church, just anything that's gonna like keep you around people, because people are gonna help to support you when you need it.
There's just that energy. I know a friend of mine studied like positive psychology, and I know he interviewed a bunch of people who were at their end of life, and they asked like what their main regrets are in their lives. Overwhelmingly, majority of the time, it wasn't that they made more money or had a bigger house or faster cars. It was that they stayed in touch with so-and-so or family member or friends, or, you know, just had more of that community and social. I think that's an awesome answer that no one has said yet.
Really?
Yeah, that's
First
great.
one.
But that's why I love that question, because there's so many other things. When people think health, I think they'll think probably diet, nutrition, and exercise. But there's just so many other things that contribute to your health. And do you do the thing where, I know when people talk about going out in nature, barefoot and like being connected to the ground, like that kind of?
Yeah, I do that from time to time. Like anytime you can get out of a rubber sole and feel the energy from the earth. Not to get too hippy-dippy, but I think that's super important. Anytime I can go barefoot, like I will.
That's great.
That, or just like even, you know, hugging a tree or like touching the plants, like anything that you're like connecting to and whatever you're comfortable doing, I think is really important.
Just connecting to nature physically.
Connecting, or like getting in a lake. You know, living in New England, we have so many opportunities to be able to do that, and
a lot of cold plunges
wherever you want to get in the
Haven't
water.
done it yet. Haven't done that yet. Yeah.
I think that is like a really good thing. Like anytime I came across, especially on the Pacific Crest Trail being out west, we went through a lot of areas with snowmelt and glacial lakes, and like, yes, they're cold, but it is one of the most cleansing things to get in somewhere that, like, you know, not many people have been, and just float in the water there. It's untouched, and like just experiencing it any way that you want.
It probably feel like afterwards you probably have that same euphoria or that runner's high. Probably the same feeling.
100%.
I need to do that more.
Or just go out in the rain. You know, I love walking around in the rain. I think it's so much fun. As long as you don't mind getting wet or just wear a raincoat. I think getting outside in any kind of weather can be really great for you.
Man, I feel like, you know, I golf, I run, I ski. I feel like I do a decent job with outdoors, but you're definitely inspiring me to like, you can do more.
There always is a way to do more.
I'm definitely the one of like, it's raining. I'll run tomorrow. Or I have a treadmill that I'll run on that on a rainy day, but I'll get some gear first.
Some gear. That's all you need.
Is there rain pants? Running rain
there
pants?
There are. Okay. It's hard with running because anything that's waterproof gets hot. So water resistant is the term we like to use. Yeah.
Last question is basically, how do people find you?
Yeah.
If you want to tell them like your address, your phone number, email, or any upcoming events to see you at.
Yeah, I got plenty.
Go for it, yeah.
So we are on 9 Court Street in downtown Plymouth. So we're one road up from the waterfront, right across from Will & Co Cafe and next to the Yellow Deli. So to give you some landmarks there. We have a Marathon Sports Instagram, Facebook, Strava, TikTok, website. So anywhere you can basically look us up. Marathonsports.com is the website. We're growing. We have 28 locations now. So even if you're not on the South Shore, you're not in Massachusetts, we have stores in Maine now. We have them in New Hampshire, Connecticut, Rhode Island. So we're invading all of New England.
I just saw in Concord, New Hampshire.
I've been to 15 stores so far. My goal is to make it to all of them.
28.
I think it's 28 or 27.
Okay.
Yeah, don't quote me on that.
Yeah, good for you. I mean, if you don't know, they are probably most famous for the Boylston Street,
store,
which is located at the finish line of the Boston Marathon. I mean, pretty world-renowned marathon, and to be
cool.
at the finish line. Do you know if there's like a connection to that? Like, did they intend to finish at the Marathon Sports, or the Marathon Sports? What came? I guess
I've
the
only
race
been
came
here
first.
a year, so
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I'll look that up.
Yeah, our original location is the Cambridge location. That was the first.
That's the original.
one.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
if you want
just-
to see a really cool place, it's an old apartment building that they've
wow.
turned into a store. So
Huh.
it's super fascinating.
Oh, that's
It's
cool.
Yeah,
I'll check that out.
all of the architecture of New England is just, especially in Boston, like
yeah.
where they found places to put the stores. Like it's so cool. They're all very unique.
Right.
But
right.
yeah, for Marathon Sports Plymouth in particular, if you're interested in the run club, we have a Facebook page called Marathon Sports Plymouth Run Club. So super easy. You can find it that way. Lots of events. We'll miss it, but June 4th is Global Running Day. So if you're around, come join us.
Yep. What do you guys do? Is it at the store?
It'll be actually at Second Wind Brewing. We're gonna host the run club there, and Superfeet will be there to demo out products. So another thing that we do with Dirty Water Distillery, and then we also do it with the run club at the store, is we'll invite a vendor in.
Yeah.
So like New Balance will come in and they'll have demo shoes for you to run in. So you can go out and run in shoes, test them out, give them back, and then from there you've run in a new shoe that you can get if you want at the store, or now for your next pair of shoes, like, oh, I want to try something, I tried these. So we are going to be doing a demo with Ultra, which is a very awesome company that has wide toe box shoes. So it's really great if you got bunions or like you just want to be able to grip the ground with your feet a little bit more.
Sure.
So June 24th we'll be having them at our store.
Okay.
June 12th, UFOs will be over at Dirty Water Distillery. July 16th, we have Puma coming into the store.
I was gonna go back. UFOs are like the sandal.
Recovery slides, So they're made out of a super shock absorbing foam.
Okay.
That's really great if you're dealing with like plantar fasciitis, or if you've done a lot, you've been on your feet all day, something to go in like wear at the end of the day. They're really great.
I want to check that out.
Yeah, they're awesome. I wear them religiously all year. They're at home. But we've got that going on, and then the 14th, I believe, of June, the day before Father's Day, we're having an event at 3V Sandbar down in Cordage Park for fathers. There'll be ice baths, there'll be saunas, there's going to be like food, it's a whole event that's happening. So that's going on.
So there's a run going on.
There's a run going on, so a group run, and then saunas and cold plunges, and then that's for the summer so far. More to come. If you want to know about any of the events, the Facebook group I mentioned, or we always put them up on our chalkboard. And then Marathon Sports Plymouth is going to be hosting a race in October. So we're hosting a 5K race in downtown Plymouth, October 19th. Mark your calendar.
All right.
It'll start and end at Plymouth Rock. So something to look forward to for the fall as well.
Yeah, a little sightseeing.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Is this the first one?
Be the first one we've done. So a lot of the races have moved out of downtown Plymouth, and I really wanted to bring some of them back. So that's going to be the first one we do.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you got your choice there.
Do anything.
It's perfect. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Let people know.
Just don't be afraid to come in and ask us questions. We're there to help, and we want to help you be the best version of yourself. So anything that we can do, I don't want anyone feeling apprehensive about coming into the store. Like, we'll always be a friendly face in the community to help you with whatever you need.
Yeah, I mean, when I met her at the store, I mean, you really were just so friendly and welcoming, and I asked her, at that event, you know, if she wanted to do this interview. And yeah, I think there was maybe a little hesitation in me, like, I always hesitate like, to ask people and what their response is going to be, or, oh, no, I don't have time for that. But you were just so like, yeah. I think you said yeah before I finished the question.
Probably.
Yeah. With a smile, I was like, oh, this is going to be great. This is my people.
Yeah.
You know, definitely not uptight. You know, and I wasn't surprised when you told me about your past and your hiking and your skiing and traveling and everything, because you know, that's the type of person that's pretty open and outgoing and you know, not so stuck up as some people are.
All the things I've done, I've learned the importance of connecting with people and like to not be, you know, reserved. Like if you want to talk about anything, I'm here to talk. And I think it's the best way to get to know people. We can cut the small talk and get into it. Like I love getting to know people. Right,
exactly. That's what I say. Like I have 5 questions, and I can make those 5 questions go like 2 hours. Like just keep going. So I have to remind myself to stay on track. But thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
This was great.
Woo-hoo.
It was amazing. And check out Marathon Sports Store. If you need physical therapy, I'm around in the South Shore and Cape area. And till next time, we'll see you then. Thank you.